fuck that.
Just roll with it. Roll with it.
Welcome back to this podcast. I'm your host, Robbie, and I'm sitting in the Gang Motorsports studio, just slamming shit. And across from me is my co-host, Adam Nilsson, and on Zoom we have Dusty Nixon.
Woo!
Welcome to the show, Dusty.
Evening, gentlemen.
Yeah, it's starting excellently.
It's because we're out of practice, Robbie.
Yeah.
So we don't do the show often enough anymore.
No, it's true. Like, I don't even know where the mic goes anymore. I just start hitting it.
I almost forgot how to get here.
Maybe you're too in practice because it's only been a week.
No, we skipped last week.
Yeah, we skipped a week.
I couldn't be bothered. Honestly, it's been the worst probably 3 to 4 weeks of my fucking life. So last week when we were like, you gonna do a show? No. I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the shop.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. So sorry, everyone.
Should we talk about that?
Oh, me being in the shop or the shittiness that is my life?
No, the world doesn't need to know all that.
Nope. I mean, things are getting back to normal, which
Okay.
is not to say that normal's good, but like
It's better.
Things are, when it's here down at the bottom and it's going, we're trending upwards, so I'll take it.
Yeah. But we can talk about what you've accomplished in the shop because that's worth talking about.
Yeah, for sure.
And then nobody even knows
About me or
what you have in the shop.
no? It's been no. Instagram knows.
Oh, okay.
Instagram knows first.
Fine.
So like 4 people.
He had to brag on Instagram. So
I don't know about bragging.
Kinda.
Yeah,
Did you tag Josh in any posts?
he commented on them, so he saw them right away. But
What happened?
All right.
Then we'll talk to Dusty. We'll get to him eventually.
All right.
So this transpired last time I was here.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Uh-huh.
So 2 weeks ago, we were about to record the show, and you're like, "Hey, I'm gonna be at your place at like 5:30." I'm like, "Yeah, I'll meet you there because like I'm doing some other stuff. I'll be there."
Right.
So
That's literally what. Yeah, I got some I'm running some errands. I should be there about 5:30. All right, cool.
So we meet at my house about this. What's that?
you should know that running some errands for Robbie means that he's picking up a broken car.
I figured he was getting car parts, but I didn't know there was a whole car.
Usually when I say running some errands, it usually means I'm doing something I don't want to tell you that I'm doing. But it's not a lie either because I am running errands. I just don't want to tell you exactly what I'm doing.
I guess. So anyway.
Which now I just gave away my secret. If anyone's like, what are you doing? I'm running errands. Fucking liar.
That's what he's going to tell us from now on, no matter what he's doing.
True. So we met here at the house, and I jumped out of the car and was like, I just bought a Mini Cooper. Obviously, it wasn't with me, but
right.
I had gone to see it, and I'd agreed to terms on it, and was going to get back, and met you at the house, and was like, yep, I got it. So, actually, the funny thing was, we'll get to the funnier thing. I don't know what's so much funny, haha. But like the funny thing was that I agreed to buy this car, handshake, cash in hand, like everything. And that day was the same day that Jess's Edge met a guardrail. Mm-hmm. So I have to fix the Edge, which is super. It's just body work. It's not a big deal, but it's just like, and she's fine. For everyone listening. But it was just like super annoying. Where I was like, well, I could use the money from the Mini to fix the Edge, and just be, then the bank account doesn't get suffered as much.
Right.
And I was like, well, but I really want this Mini. So I had like a few hours of thinking like, well, yeah, we're gonna get the Mini. We're just gonna.
I was actually really surprised because I knew about the Edge already.
Yep.
Before I knew about the Mini.
Yep.
So I was surprised when I came home, or when I came to your house, and you're like, "Oh yeah, bought a Mini Cooper."
Yep.
Like, really? Okay.
Yeah, because the conversation for the Mini had started before the Edge got damaged. So then I followed through on the Mini discussions.
Okay.
And went and saw it and was like, you know what? Yep, we're gonna go through with it. Worst case scenario is I fix it and sell it.
Yeah, I had the same kind of thought process of like, there's been an incident where a vehicle was damaged, and then I've already got another vehicle.
Well, I mean, I suppose you could have.
Like Robbie moves fast. Like,
Well, I wasn't sure if he was planning on keeping the Edge because I hadn't seen it yet and I hadn't talked to you about it yet.
Yep. No, I mean it's just it was like the front bumper, the fender, and the doors like all just damaged. Like it's not.
And a wheel.
Oh yeah.
It's the most expensive part.
Yeah, that's what sucks too. Because like if you have a new Edge, like the Sport, they have the 22s on them,
which we all know you love.
I fucking hated them. So the cheapest one I could find, was $600
for one rim.
For one used wheel shipped to my door.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere else, like locally, like there's one that Omaha. They had 3 of them at a salvage yard, $700 a piece.
Oh my god!
So I learned that there's a guy in town selling a set of 20s off of a 2015 Mustang. They actually look really good on an Edge, in case you're wondering, because I could get those with brand new tires. Granted, they're the wrong size tires for the vehicle, but that's fine.
They do. You do look like you're really monster trucking now.
Yeah.
There's a huge fender gap.
But it was 4 wheels with brand new tires for $900 instead of what would have been $900 for one wheel and tire.
Right. And now you never have to deal with those
22s ever again.
22s ever again.
No, I think they look good. I think if I get the right size tires, it'll look.
I think
great.
we should just cut a coil.
Just drop it low.
That's what I was. That's where I was going. Was just just get the coilover set up, and then you're
no. We're just cutting a coil off the existing spring. We're Adam Jabang. It seemed fine on the fit. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. So I got.
He said it drove better than like all those custom valved crazy setups, right?
I mean, better seems like a long stretch, but he wasn't mad about it.
Yeah.
And there's been another person who's done that as well.
It's fine.
Jim did it with his, and I think he podiumed.
Yeah, see, it works fine. Yeah, but now it can be a tire shredding Ford Edge Sport. Whatever. I don't know.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting that fixed. But so yeah, agreed to buy the Mini, and had an overheating issue, which pretty obvious to me that it was a head gasket. But the guy was like, I don't know, these are kind of a trick pain to bleed. I
Right. You said you were kind of hoping that maybe.
I knew better, but I was going to try it anyways. Give it the college try. But no,
because he had put a thermostat in it.
He said he did. I don't know if he actually did or not. I replaced that anyways. But,
yeah.
But yeah, the funny thing was though, I get back to the house and I tell you about it, and you're like, maybe this is the one that Josh.
Well, no, because you said that you had just gotten back from New Virginia.
Yes.
Which is this tiny little town I had previously never heard of, south of here.
Yes.
But then I went, wait a second. And I was thinking about it, and I'm like, Josh Fettis sent me a Mini Cooper because he's on the prowl for a Sunday Cup competitor of some kind, a Fit or a Cooper primarily.
A Cooper.
But he has for a long time, he has been a Cooper, like in the closet fan.
I get that.
He wants one.
I understand.
As most of us car people do. I mean, they're adorable and silly and fun and annoyingly cheap. And
but there's a reason for that.
Legendarily unreliable, which honestly makes them better.
Yeah. It's worse, but better.
Right.
It's the reliability of a British car combined with the complication of a German engineered one. I mean, what could go wrong?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
it's painfully BMW and painfully British.
And so he sent me one, and he goes, this was a few days before. He goes, I should see if Robbie would go and look at this for me. And then
he did.
And then
he arranged transportation for it too.
Yeah,
it just wasn't quite all the way.
So then Robbie tells me that he had just got back from New Virginia. And so then I went back in my text messages with Josh, and I scrolled back a ways, and I found it, and I showed it to Robbie. I said, is this the one? And he's like, yeah, that's the one I just bought. So I sent that to Josh. I responded to it, and I said, Robbie just bought this. And apparently Josh was talking to the guy about it.
What was Josh's reaction?
That motherfucker.
I got Josh to say the F word.
Josh is not much of a swearing type of guy. Like, he doesn't swear all that often. I mean, he's not opposed to it, but he doesn't swear often.
Yep.
So when he says it, he means it.
I got him to say the
That
F word.
That motherfucker.
But yeah, so I mean, the guy was selling it for, $25. He wanted $2,500 for it.
Yeah.
he said it was overheating.
It's a base model.
Base model Mini Cooper, really clean.
Shockingly clean.
Yep, like no rust whatsoever. Like the interior's really clean. Everything's nice.
How many?
168,000, 64,000 miles.
So not a low mileage example, but I just looked at it a few minutes ago. It was the first time I've seen it. It doesn't look like that kind of mileage. It's shockingly good.
Yeah, like
inside and out.
It's super clean. Like they must have bought it from a dealer not too long ago, and then it gave them this issues, and now they don't want to deal with it anymore. So what you're saying is this is like a $9,000 Honda Fit.
Oh yeah, for sure,
definitely.
Honda Fits are out of control right now. Mini Coopers are where they're at. What's really frustrating about the Mini Cooper market, is that the base model and the S are basically the same price, and obviously the base model is the answer
for Sunday Cup.
Well, no, just in general, probably.
Yes, because
it's probably more reliable. It's certainly
there's no probably about it.
It's certainly less complicated to work on.
It has less known issues.
It's probably cheaper to insure.
Probably.
There is a competition class that requires little to no modification to go out there and have fun in.
Yep.
Yet I still can't bring myself to say, yeah, absolutely, I'd buy a base model if I was going to buy a Mini Cooper. I still would prefer an S. It's the worst decision all around.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's like class action lawsuits about the S.
But I'd probably still make that decision. And I know Dusty's in the same boat as I am.
I mean, whenever you're looking at Marketplace and there's two of them sitting there next to each other and you know one has a blower on it, the other one doesn't, they're the same damn price. Like,
it's a trap.
They're not like almost the same damn price. They're literally the same amount of money.
I was finding clean S's that were cheaper than base models the other day.
They're both $4,000 to $5,000 for good condition running.
Yes, that's what's weird though. Like the market right now is either that needs work, so it's like $3,000,
right?
Or
runs good.
It runs great, $8,000. There's no middle. It's $8,000 or $3,000.
Yeah, probably.
That's it.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, so I'm sure Josh was talking to him, and he probably offered him like $1,500, and then
I'm sure he lowballed the ever living shit out of him. Honestly, he probably took your offer knowing that because Josh was lowballing the shit out of him.
Yeah, because I offered him $2,000 and we met in the middle. I mean that's paid $2,250 for it.
Yeah,
I thought it was fair price. I wasn't going to argue over another $200. It wasn't worth my time because I knew I was going to pour money into it anyways.
Josh was still just sending him emojis. 2 a.m.
Thumbs up question marks.
Yeah, so I picked it up and brought it home. Assumed it was a head gasket. Felt pretty confident on that. Decided to try to bleed the system just to
be sure,
prove to myself that it was in fact that.
It's too easy not to at least try.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know where my other pictures are. But anyways.
Yeah, so
just Google Mini with an engine problem. You'll find plenty of them.
There's only about 1 million of them.
Come on now. Don't be that way.
Yeah, so obviously it didn't take long to overheat. It was basically doing exactly what the Z did last year, where it would pressurize the system, and then if you drove it at all, it would basically burp out all the coolant. It wasn't burning coolant. I mean, some was getting into the cylinders, but not enough to like have smoke. So it was basically you're pressurizing the system, you're puking coolant out, bleeding it dry, and overheating the car. So that's what it was doing. I mean, the fucked up thing on Mini Coopers is there's no temp gauge at all. There is none. There's not one.
The dash is shockingly simple.
Because it doesn't tell you anything.
Because I was in there, I was just looking at it.
It's just a giant speedometer in the middle and then a tack, right?
That's it. And warning lights.
There's some idiot lights, and that's it.
You gotta get that OBD2 and the little tablet display.
Oh yeah, the little dongle for my phone it stays there now. I know better.
I saw that in the center console.
I'm probably going to buy just another one.
Yeah, this is now the Mini Cooper part.
Exactly.
It just stays in there.
Yeah. This is the Mini Cooper's OBD2 scanner.
It's got this fancy little aftermarket phone holder that's custom for a Mini Cooper. It says Mini on it, and then the phone, it sits basically right next to the tack, and it bolts into the backside of the tack on like factory holes, and it just holds a phone. It's like one of those expandable phone holders, so you can grab any different variations of size of phone.
It's kind of nice.
Yeah, I think they were big on all those little add-on accessory things.
I don't think it's I don't think it's a factory produced. It looks to me like
it says Mini on it.
Yeah, it looks to. I mean, that doesn't.
I don't think it's an actual branded.
I think it's something because I know this enthusiast market around the Mini is wild.
Yeah, which I really do appreciate because the YouTube videos of like how to do this step by step are plentiful.
I love the switch panels. They're so cool.
Oh, like the locks and the windows, all that stuff in the middle.
Yeah.
They look like World War II aircraft toggle switches.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I learned that it doesn't have cruise control when I took it out for a test drive. So that was annoying, but not a deal breaker. I don't really.
It's got a manual transmission.
Manual transmission.
And air conditioning.
So which is great.
Up on the Focus.
And whoever had this before really cared about it. So there's like a really nice Sony touchscreen head unit. Yeah, not a CD player. But it had a big amplifier under the passenger seat that's like, I assumed it's like, this is just for the subwoofers that they used to have in there. Because it had wires for the sub that they had just cut.
Yeah.
So like when I was waiting for parts and I pulled the amp out, I disconnected all that stuff, pulled the wiring out. After I went to go start it later, realized that not only does the head unit require that amp to use any of the speakers or anything else, it's a worthless head unit without the amplifier. So I had to go back and reinstall that whole fucking thing. Luckily, I didn't pull all the wires out, just the power and ground.
That would have been really annoying.
So reinstalled that. Now everything works again. But clearly it was bleeding into cylinder 1, 2, and 3. You can see how polished and clean the cylinder heads or the tops of the pistons are, whereas there's some carbon on the number 4.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it was just pressurizing the system. I looked into what I know are known faults for the Mini Cooper, so I replaced the timing chains. You're supposed to replace those at least every 100,000 miles, if not more. So timing chain tensioner, obviously. Head gasket. The front main seal is known to leak, which it looked like it was. Replace that, and then the oil filter housing seal is known to fail, so I replaced that. And then I also replaced the thermostat while I was in there because who knows? It could have been an eBay or Amazon piece of junk that they had swapped in there, and I didn't know. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get a good one. So I ordered everything from FCP Euro with the lifetime warranty. So when I have to do this again, I can just buy them and send it back.
Still the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yep. Yeah. So timing chain, head gasket, head bolts, all the O-rings, and the thermostat. I think that's it that I bought from FCP Euro. So if this happens again, I can just replace all that and send it all back to FCP Euro and get a refund. Mm-hmm. It's a lifetime warranty on the car that I own.
The lifetime oil.
Yep, I didn't
brake fluid.
I didn't mess
brake
with that
pads,
yet.
Like everything. It's crazy to me.
Yep. I think Dalton's right though that the reason that they can do it is because most people won't take the time to do it.
Oh, absolutely.
Because even I was like,
100%.
I'll just get this fixed first. We'll worry about the oil later. I'll get the parts that I know I need, and we'll worry about the rest later. Mm-hmm. So I spent most of last weekend getting it all swapped over. Took out for a test drive. Stays at 180 degrees, just rock solid. Because I was trying to burp the system, and I felt like I got it all, and I was watching the temps climb. I was like, I don't like this. It feels wrong. It feels like it feels too hot. I feel like there's too much air.
Yeah. So
I let it cool down. Capped off the system, took it for a spin, and for whatever reason, I watched it climb up to 210, and the thermostat opened, dropped down to 180, never went above 185 again for the whole test drive, both test drives. So it's been good.
Have you driven it to work? Are you driving it to work?
No, because they owed money on this.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm waiting for the title.
Yeah.
So until I get the title, I'm probably not just going to drive around.
You got 30 days. As long as it has insurance on it, you're good to go.
I don't have insurance on it yet.
Come on.
But I will.
Come on, Robbie.
So probably by the time this comes out, I'll at least have had that conversation with my insurance agent.
You're getting quite the list going.
Well, the Focus is going to be gone.
Eventually.
Yeah.
It's a necessary car right now.
It is now. Hopefully for not very long.
That's my favorite part about that whole thing.
What?
She hated that car.
Yeah, now she has to drive
Now
it.
it's a daily driver.
Yeah. If it had air conditioning, she wouldn't be complaining at all.
I mean, that's fair. But
yeah, no,
it's still funny.
Mini's been great. I mean, I haven't driven it a lot, but I test drove it. And
Katie's super jelly because she's always wanted a Mini Cooper.
it's great.
And now that we have kids, it's like even farther away from being a reality for her.
Yep. It's just so nice.
Because like I could buy a Mini Cooper and daily drive it, but it's gonna have a stick, and then she won't be able to drive it because she doesn't want to learn.
The transmission smooths or shifts so smooth.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I can compare it to was like the Jetta.
Yeah,
You've
spoken very highly of the transmission that was in the Jetta.
It's so easy. It basically drives itself.
Yeah,
This is just as smooth. I was shockingly impressed. Like I'm used to the aggressiveness of the Z, but that's my own fault.
Yeah,
Because everything in there is rigid or as racy as it could possibly be. Whereas
Right.
this is clearly for comfort. But man, I was like, damn, this is fucking smooth.
So it was engineered by Germans.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's like BMW branded. So
even the spare tire tools are BMW roundels on them. Yeah, people have been making fun of the Supra.
yeah, no,
Mini's
it's the
over
same,
here
it is
like,
the same
what
thing.
you guys are talking about?
Yeah, they were ahead of the curve.
Yeah, there you go. So
No, it wasn't that difficult to work on. I mean, it helps that there's enough following for it that there's like a billion YouTube channels of Mini enthusiasts that are like, here's how to replace the head gasket, and like walks you through it step by step. And I was like, well, this is thoughtless. And it's kind of the same timing chain setup as like the MZR, where like you don't like you have to get the tools that locks the cams in place, and you line everything up. And like the weirdest part for this one was like, instead of like bringing it to top dead center or whatever for cylinder one, this was like put them all in the center flat. Lock the cams, put the timing chain in,
you don't
tighten
bring
it up.
anything to top dead center.
Nope. Flat. 90.
Really?
Everything flat in the center.
That's weird.
That's like, so you know your flywheel's in place when all the pistons are the same height. I'm like, well, that's fucking weird.
That's kind of terrifying.
That is weird. It must not be an interference motor.
I don't know. But yeah, it was like, yeah, you turn the crank and then you lock the flywheel with the pin. And then that puts it so that the pistons are all flat. And then you install everything. And then you put the cams in, and they only go in such a way that you can lock the intake and the exhaust and so that they're in place. Then you just tighten everything up.
Is it a hydraulic tensioner? Or a spring loaded?
It's a spring loaded.
It's spring loaded?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. It was pretty simple. I mean, in all reality, just a little 4-cylinder. Like, it's really not much to it.
I guess the early base model Mini Coopers had some derivative of neon engine in them.
I think that's the generation before this.
Right. Yeah, I think yours is a little too new.
Yep.
But apparently they had some derivative of neon engine in them.
Yep. But yeah, so like all those gaskets are known faults. So once you're in there, they say do it. Apparently there's a class action lawsuit about the oil filter housing gasket.
Weird.
So, yeah, so I replaced that with my FCP Euro gasket, so when it fails, I can get another one.
It's like the best and worst advertisement they've ever got.
Yeah. The only problem...
Be cheap like Robbie. Buy from FCP Euro.
You pay a little extra for the quality shit, though. But actually, what was crazy, though, is like the head bolts were no more expensive.
You didn't put studs in this one, huh?
No, because
Not like the truck.
No, because I can get the lifetime warranty FCP Euro. No, the truck got ARP everything. The Mini Cooper did not. But I was really glad I was alone though. Like I'm doing like torque to yield, like fuck. I hate torque to yield. I hate it. But the most annoying thing about it was I got done because like there's some oil leaking, and I assume it's from one of the two known leaking gaskets, and then there was some oil pooled on like the drain plug, and the drain plug had been welded. So like that's a red flag right off the bat. There's something wrong with that drain plug. Like there's a spot of weld on the drain plug. Like we're replacing that, throwing that away.
That's sketchy.
Yeah, replaced it.
That would give me pause about like a whole list of other things on the car.
Right.
That's shocking to me because the That had to have been a mechanic doing something sketchy.
Yeah.
Because there's no way that a person who took care of that car as well as they did whatever that was happening.
The only thing I can think of is that that's like the lowest point. I think it's scraped the ground enough times. I don't know why you would weld that, but like it had a spot of weld on it. It was weird. So I replaced that. But yeah, the oil pan doesn't have a crack in it
yet.
But what I did learn is that
not till after you cut the coils and bottom it out a few times.
Exactly. But the pan's clearly been off and put back on before and shittily put back, like the gasket was not replaced.
Okay.
So that's where some of the oil's leaking from, and I didn't realize it until I'd finished my oil change. I'm like, well, it's not leaking bad.
That's 3,000 miles from now's problem.
Yep. That's next oil change, I'll replace that. Or I'll RTV it. I was really annoyed with myself though. I was like, I fucking knew that gasket should, like, it's you can just pop the pan off and put it back on. It's not that hard.
There's no cross member in the way or anything?
No, it's like an LS where it has like it's a notch for the.
Oh.
So you just pull it. It'd be super easy.
Huh.
I mean, some of the bolts.
Why did it come off? I wonder if it's been cracked and replaced.
I bet it has. I mean, and the pans are like $50. I mean, it's not like it's a big deal to replace it if it is cracked.
Right.
Cheaper than the Focus.
Yeah.
So it's not a big deal to replace it, but I was just kind of annoyed with myself that I didn't realize that that's where the leaks were coming from until I'd fixed literally everything else. I mean, it's not like it's leaving big puddles on like it's just a couple drips, but it's enough to annoy me.
Yeah. Huh.
But yep, nope. If
this is your first European car.
It is. And it introduced itself to me as a European car after I got everything done, took it for a test drive, stopped it, gave it a bath, went to go fire it up, and it would not start.
Did you wash under the hood?
Not under the hood, no.
Oh, okay.
It just wouldn't start. Just sat there and cranked. I was like, what the fuck? So I plugged in my OBD2 scanner, and it was reading like no fuel at all. And I was like, well, I know that's not true. I topped it off anyways. I was like, all right, I'll put some fuel in here. So then I tried it again, and it just cranked, and it still said no fuel. Like, well, I know that's not fucking true. I just put 5 gallons in. So then I had some O2 sensor codes, so I cleared those, hit start, fired right up. No codes whatsoever. Like no check engine light, nothing. Never gave me an issue since.
Cars are stupid.
But I don't know what's going on here.
Painful. I don't miss it though.
That's actually the British part of it, giving you weird electrical.
It's kind of the German part of it too, though, because I mean, granted that was an Audi product, but like that was kind of the story of my life with the TT.
So, scanner stays in the car. I'll probably just get another one.
God.
But it's never given me that issue ever since. I mean, I've driven it a couple times just because Jess wanted to ride in it, so we took it out for a quick spin on the blacktop here just to prove to her that it wasn't a bad decision. She's way into it. She likes it.
I'm sure she's probably hoping she gets it.
Yeah, like she was like, so now that this is fixed, can I stop driving the No. I need to register. I need to insure it.
That's my vehicle to get to work.
And yes, that is mine.
I'm gonna drive this to work every day.
Yes. Yeah, right now I'm just driving the truck, and I don't want to do that.
Oh, that's expensive.
I know.
Gas isn't free.
The mileage on this thing is insane.
Oh, I'm sure.
It's insane.
Probably gets the best mileage you've ever gotten
it's the
in
best
any vehicle you've ever owned.
These are facts.
Because the Focus wasn't that good.
Focus right now is the best.
But this is definitely better.
This is leaps and bounds better.
Yeah, because I bet the Focus transmission is the problem.
Yes.
It doesn't have enough gears.
No.
And it kind of RPMs along on the interstate.
Yep.
And it's kind of not good for gas.
Nope.
If you take it like 2-lane blacktop, 60 miles an hour goes way better. But you're far too impatient for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I won't do that.
Then you'll end up just on the side of the road hanging from something because you had to drive 60 miles an hour somewhere.
Nah. There's nothing better than going through like tiny little back road towns.
Well, yeah, when you got a fun little car like a Mini Cooper.
Around, and I do it in the Odyssey all the time. Katie hates it so much. We did that on the way home this weekend. We went to the Grotto of Redemption, and we went through Dolliver State Park. We got all kinds of cool stuff.
Nice. Oh, I also forgot that when they loaded it on the trailer after you overheated it, because it doesn't tell you until it's already overheated. Like it'll just pop up on the screen and says overheated. Stop now.
Car's overheated.
Yep.
Sweet thing.
So he when he replaced his thermostat, he said he took it out for a drive, made it like I don't know a mile or two, and it popped up on him and said stop the car now. So
That's so dumb.
So he had his buddy tow it, and then when he pulled it onto the trailer, apparently it ripped the flex pipe on the exhaust. And it's not like just a regular flex pipe too. It's got like this weird.
Oh no, it's got to be British.
This Mini Cooper only connector. So it's like I can get like the whole piece. Like they have a kit that connect. Like you cut the exhaust and you slip it on and then replace the front. It's like $130. I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I just bought I cut the flex pipe out and then bought like band clamps and then also a like the flexible 2-inch hose like you can get at. I don't know, O'Reilly's or whatever.
Right.
Just that flex line. So I just put that in there and put band clamps around it and put that Permatex orange in there.
Uh-huh.
Worked like a charm. Fucking amazing.
God damn it, Robbie. God damn it, Robbie.
And then you just put a new spot weld on the drain plug.
Yeah,
it's ready to go.
It's good to go.
That drain plug's not going to back out now.
I replaced that. It's got a magnetic one now.
Fucking Robbie.
So yeah, I'm probably
you're such a confusing human being.
Why?
Because you'll do like all these things right, and then be like, "Nah, I'm not gonna finish that part though. I'm gonna do this kind of half-assedly."
No, it's good. It's completely sealed. It's fucking fine.
Suppose that head didn't make it to a machine shop. He did it.
No, fuck no.
Oh yeah, I was gonna ask if you threw a straight edge on anything.
I did do that.
Gasket on and called it a day.
I did check it, but
With a straight edge?
it's fine.
With a level?
It's fine. It looks great.
I can't.
If I have to do it again, I'll bring it to a machine shop. I don't know, whatever.
Can you buy a head from FCP Hero?
Probably. It's probably like $1 million.
It's okay. He was only able to get a dime under the straight edge, not a quarter, so everything's all right.
Oh, well, send it then.
Yeah,
Fuck it.
it's fine. No, we're good.
Just find the high spots and throw a little RTV in there on the gasket before you close it up.
Oh, God.
Remember the JB Weld head bolt gasket theory?
The JB Weld head gasket lives in my brain more than I care to talk about. I desperately want to do it to a thing.
See, this is where the surprise comes. He's actually doing it right now with the Mini. He'll report back the results.
Works great. No.
I'd be really upset if he did it in the Mini. There's a couple of our old YouTube video ideas that I desperately want to do. I still want to do Edward Tool Hands.
Yep.
I think that would be hilarious.
That would be so frustrating.
But have a couple of us together and we each have a different tool to tape to our hands.
Yep.
So need a ratchet. I got you, man. Come over there and do the ratchet thing.
God, that would be fucking terrible. We'd last we wouldn't last at all. We'd be yelling at each other.
And then the other one that Michael, I think, came up with that Freiberger says that technically a vehicle, he considers a vehicle running if, if you can get it to start using one hand. Even if that means you got to put some parts on, together. Yeah. So I want to see how far down the line can we get before I can't get this car
no longer runs.
This is not a running car. I was able to put spark plugs in it, put a battery back in it, we got her started. This is still technically a running car. All right, let's do something else stupid with it. But it almost has to be like an old muscle car.
Yeah.
Can you put a carburetor on it with one hand?
Sure.
With the other hand duct tape to your side? I'll give you your dominant hand.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
I think that would be hilarious YouTube content.
Yep.
And then the JB Weld head gasket.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
These are things that still live in my head pretty regularly.
You got the Focus. We could always try that.
I wanted to do it with a car that has a bad head gasket, though. I don't. Even if it is a junk car, I don't want to just do it.
I understand.
That's not as funny.
No, it has to be broken.
It has to be a
fixed.
broken car.
Yeah.
I can't just buy a cheap car and then pull the head off and see all right, well, this head gasket's perfectly good, but I'm going to throw it in the trash. That's
That's the problem. Like that car will run forever. Like if we're waiting for the head gasket to fail, that's the one thing that'll never fail.
We got to find something like this, but like I don't want to spend $2,000 on it because we're probably throwing this car in the garbage when we're done with it.
Yeah, that or the engine.
You need to hang out at the salvage yard and find the right candidate, bringing it in, and be like, "Hey, I'll give you this much."
Yeah, you don't want to sell it here. We'll take it.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Actually, the chop top car would have been good, but they were in Tennessee.
And that was a transmission problem.
But
the head gaskets were good on it, Robbie.
You'd still be able to tell if the engine would last.
Yeah, but the head gaskets were still good. That's not the point.
But yeah, so
I'm sure that car wasn't very far away from overheating. So
she was a choice piece of equipment, man. He drove that thing to work on a semi-regular basis,
like all the time, every day.
Like that was his daily driver when it was nice out.
Yep.
Which I think is even funnier.
Yeah.
Even more funny. Like just, it's nice out. I'll take the chop top.
It's a conversation starter.
Run inside and grab my helmet real quick.
Yep.
Or just drive down the road. Fuck it.
Yeah. Put the sunglasses on. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Get out your pit vipers.
Yep. But anyways, yeah. So I got a Mini Cooper.
You want to make it a chop top?
Absolutely not.
Oh, those came as a convertible. It doesn't count.
Yep, doesn't count.
The Focus, maybe.
Ooh.
I mean, unless somebody gives me a decent offer to it, it's more valuable to me as like turning into a Ute with a Sawzall or a chop top.
I considered, if I would have ended up buying another daily driver, I considered sacrificing the Blazer to the chop top.
Ooh.
There's been a chop top Blazer already, though, so that takes some of the fun out of it.
So I think the play here is to turn the Focus into a Ute for one season and then
chop top it after that.
Chop the rest of it off and then do the chop top, yeah.
Kind of like that idea, actually, a lot.
I don't know where this Ute thing with the Focus came from.
I just want to do a Ute, and this is a car that would be perfect to do it because I won't feel bad if I screw it all up.
That's fair.
I got it cheap enough that if something goes wrong, it's fine.
I wonder what the XB market's like these days. Scion.
Yeah.
XB.
That'd be a great Ute.
They're so cool. You never see a first-gen XB anymore.
No. But when you do, they're not very expensive.
Probably cheaper than a fucking IQ.
Yeah, like by 3x.
IQs are dumb money.
They're at least $8,000.
It's so frustrating.
At least $8,000.
And I also didn't realize that they're all CVTs.
Yep.
Which is really a buzzkill.
Mazda 2s are depressingly expensive too.
Are they?
They're like almost exclusively automatics from what I can find.
Because you're kind of like me where you're like, I don't really want to buy a Fit because that's what everybody else has. Yeah,
I like the 2s. My wife had a 3 hatchback, and that gave me a soft spot for the Mazda hatchback kind of thing. So,
sorry, Dan, but I don't like the 2.
No,
sorry, Scott.
Yeah,
the 2's not my. I would probably buy a Fit before I bought a 2.
Well, I mean, the Mini Cooper exists, so I mean, there's always that.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying that I would buy a Fit first. Don't get me. It's still pretty far down on my list, but I think the 2 is actually farther down.
Oh, for sure.
Which is kind of weird.
It'd be great as if we all bought Mini Coopers and we could just everyone got the Fit guys, and then you got the 1010s guys all rocking Mini Coopers.
And Eric Streeter, because he's got one too.
Like that guy.
He seems cool. I've talked to him a couple times. He's a nice guy. I like him.
I have nothing bad to say about him.
He's done so many things.
And while the Fit guys are doing burnouts between sessions, we'll just be changing head gaskets.
That's not that difficult.
patching up exhaust. And
it's fine.
Do you think FCP Euro will do a bulk discount on their lifetime warranted items?
Yeah, how many times can I do this?
Well, if I buy... if we have 10 Minis and we need to put head gaskets in them between sessions... Will they give us a 10 head gasket discount?
I think so.
I'm definitely putting ARPs in at that point.
Yeah.
The second time...
The problem is the bolts are like $30. It's not... it's kind of...
Well, they're free now, Robbie.
Moving forward, they are.
That's a one-time cost, no matter what. So...
Yeah, but no. Honestly, the hardest part about taking that whole everything apart... was that the heat shield is held on in like 5 spots up against the block for the exhaust. And they're like, mostly it's probably because of my stubbornness. Because one of the steps that the guy was like, so what we're going to do is we're going to disassemble the whole front end and take the whole bumper assembly off.
The fuck we are.
That's what I said. I was like,
no, we're not.
I'm not completely disassembling the subframe. We're not fucking doing it.
I've got wobble sockets and extensions galore. We are not taking that front bumper off.
Like, of the 30-minute video of like part 1, 15 minutes of it was like taking apart the front end. I'm like,
no,
I'm not doing that.
Absolutely not.
I'll take the headlights out and I'll take the cross member piece off and like I'll take that shit off because that makes sense and like take the motor mount off.
Right.
But I'm not like disassembling the whole front end and like pulling it because you have to like hammer it off.
Right.
And he's like, this will give you the extra 3 inches you need. I'm like, I can figure it out from here, man.
That's like I didn't even want to take the inner fender liner out on my Odyssey.
No,
let alone pull the whole front end off.
No, it would have made it easier, but like the hardest part was the bolts that hold the heat shield on. That was a gigantic pain in the dick. Took way longer than it should have. Everything else was
like they all back in there.
No. 2 of them did not make it back in.
Weird.
Because fuck that.
He asks rhetorically knowing the answer.
But everything else was like totally fine. Because like it was really weird too. Because in the video he's like, yeah, I'm going to disassemble the low. Like he was so dead set on using his Milwaukee automatic socket thing.
Yeah, that's a thing that Dalton's that way.
Like
he'll cut a hole in his car so that he can use his impact to remove it when he could have just put a ratchet on it and taken it
That's
out.
what it was. Because like he goes, I'm going to disassemble.
That's a thing.
I'm going to disconnect the lower motor mount so the whole thing can go up and down with the jack. It's so he could use that tool to take off all the bolts on the front of on the timing cover. It's like, just use a fucking wrench. I don't have to disassemble everything to do this.
Yeah.
I don't have to drop the whole engine.
There's a large group of people who are that way about stuff now.
No, I don't even have one of those. I just use my wrench.
Yeah.
My ratchets.
I mean, I have one. It's at work.
I'll probably get one because it seems really nice, but
yeah.
But yeah, I was like, really? We're gonna completely disconnect this engine from the whole car just so you can use that tool?
Dalton will totally cut a part of his car off.
I did do that on the
just so that his impact will fit into a hole, so that he can remove a bolt that would have been no problem reaching with a socket. And ratchet.
I did a hole on top of so I can adjust my suspension.
Yeah, but that's a totally reasonable thing. That makes sense.
I got so sick of dropping the whole thing to adjust camber.
I wouldn't do that either. That's crazy talk.
No.
But like, I'm not going to cut part of my rain channel out so I don't have to get on this 10 millimeter bolt with a wrench.
Yep. But other than that, I mean, it was not that difficult. Really.
Well, there you go, Dusty. Now your dad has nothing to say about not buying a Mini.
Honestly, it was less.
They're easy to work on.
It was less complicated than the Z by like a lot.
It's probably easier to work on than whatever LS powered thing he thinks you should buy.
I wouldn't go that far.
I bet putting spark plugs in that is way easier than putting them in a 4th gen Camaro.
That is true.
Or a 2010 GMC truck. I learned that a while back.
Oh, that sucks.
That's funny.
Yeah, well, hearing you talk about doing the cam and everything, I'm seriously considering just pulling the entire engine to do it on my truck.
The video that I used for a guidance absolutely did that. He just pulled the whole engine. It would have been easier.
Yeah. The more I think about it with having to get into the oil pan and everything else. Yeah.
If you have to drop the oil pan for anything, just pull the engine. Because at that point,
how hard is it to get to transmission bolts though? Like, I always hate unhooking a transmission from an engine.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's the worst.
Yep.
So I don't think so. The thing in mind is it kind of sits in the middle of the engine bay, but there's just so much crap around it that like getting to the like spark plugs and all that stuff is kind of a pain.
Yep.
But
the back two really sucked when I replaced those.
Yeah, whenever I did the set in it took me an hour and a half, and at least an hour of that was
insane.
the back 2 plugs on it, just because you have to you're under and through and that, which, so one thing about having alien skinny arms is it makes some of that stuff a little bit easier. And yeah, I will I will work around things for twice as long to keep from having it disassembled.
Yep. Been there.
Pull the bumper off.
Fuck that. I'm
Are
taking
you
the whole
crazy?
I'm not disassembling the whole front end. Are you? No, not going to happen.
You know how hard it is to get that shit to line back up again?
It doesn't.
No,
Yeah, it doesn't.
never comes off. Never goes back on the way it came off.
Yeah, I got two 350Z bumpers that'll show you that.
Yup. That is nice about the Z, though. That actually does just come right off.
Well, yeah, but also you don't care if it didn't line up when you put it back on. As long as it's close-ish, who cares?
Well, you don't have any of the...
I don't have any of the crash barrier bullshit either. I'm just a bash bar.
Yeah, it comes off real easy after all of the factory stuff is gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, Mini Cooper, super easy to work on. It's fine. You should get one. Everyone should get one. They're great.
Let's talk to Dusty.
Okay. This intro was presented by Factory Fabrication, your Mini Cooper connoisseur as well.
That's right.
He has a Mini Cooper.
And so does his employee.
Yep, Max has a Mini Cooper as well.
Or two?
I don't remember.
I think he's like a clubman or a countryman or something like that.
I think so. He also has minis.
Yes.
Anyways.
That's true.
So, this is the
all things BMW.
Yes.
Oh, I never even put that together. That's a good point. It's interesting. Yeah, that does combine his love of British things because he had that Jaguar.
Yep.
And his love of all things Bavarian Motor Works.
Yep.
Interesting. That's never crossed my mind before. Huh.
But if you need to cage your Mini or get handrails for your house or anything that like just a custom table that would be better than this table, go ahead up Factory Fabrication, factoryfabrication.com. Tell Booney Robbie sent you. Don't say Adam sent you.
No. It's a trap for sure.
Just be like, you have a Mini, I have a Mini.
Let's be friends.
Yeah.
Dusty.
If
You
we'd
went and did
recorded this show a few days ago, I would have been able to rival Booney for lowest voice ever on the podcast.
Oh,
I
man.
think. So.
I don't know about that.
I mean,
It's close.
that would have been pretty cool though.
It was rough a few days ago.
Is your wife pretty into it?
She always just looks at me and laughs.
She doesn't sympathize? What a jerk.
She says you should go do radio.
That's fair.
Wait, that's an insult.
Is she calling you ugly?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to take the compliments where I can get them. So.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So, you went and did a thing in a
Yeah.
place. What was that thing and where?
So I went to LS Fest, Texas.
So this is the first Texas event, yeah?
Yeah. So LS Fest goes back, I think, 12 years now, starting in Bowling Green, Kentucky, which it's put on by Holly. They're based in Bowling Green. So the original big, massive blowout one is at Beach Mid Raceway in Bowling Green. And
That comes highly recommended by Dalton's girlfriend,
LS Fest and
Sam,
Bowling Green.
who is probably one of the most well-versed automotive culture event people I know, because she goes to like literally everything. She goes to like the TX2Ks and the FL2Ks and all of the Grid Lives and LS Fest and all that. She says the LS Fest in Bowling Green is her favorite event.
Really?
So,
Wow.
So it's really cool because Beach Bend it's a super old, I think going back to like the 50s drag strip. And then right next to it, there's a small paved asphalt oval. So on Friday
cool.
and Saturday nights, you can stand in between the oval and the drag strip, and you can have 7-second cars doing burnouts and pulling wheel stands on one side.
hell yeah.
And you can have drift cars on the limiter doing tandem wall rides on the other side of you.
Hell yeah.
And it's the coolest thing in the world. It's just like, I just stood there with like the most giddy childlike wonder for like 30 minutes the year we went in 2019. Traxxas did a setup there, and I just hung, like we shut down our stuff at like 6 o'clock or whatever. And then I stayed there with my buddies that were there racing and just hung out both nights and just in awe of the spectacle of it all. So
That sounds rad.
That would be a
really
good
fun.
time.
That sounds really fun.
And so you think it's like, oh, it's all LS, so it's just like a ton of Corvettes and Camaros and whatever. And like, yeah, there is a lot of Chevy stuff there, but it's literally every car you can imagine with an LS swapped into it with like, the craziest variety. And then I think last year they also added an off-road park there. So
what?
There's drag racing, drifting, autocross,
and trophy truck things,
and then now like off-road stuff. Yeah.
Oh shit, son.
Well, that sounds fun.
I might have to go on the bucket list. That sounds rad. I think LS Fest is funny to me because Holly does a few of these things. They have a Ford one,
yep,
and now they have like an all electric one too. Apparently,
so there's Ford Fest,
high voltage.
There's a Mopar one as well,
right?
And then they added last year. They added an EV one that they do at Sonoma Raceway in November.
But so Ford Fest, it's not Ford V8 Fest. It's not Coyote Fest. It's not Mod Motor Fest.
Right.
Like I'm sure it's predominantly V8s, but it's not specifically a motor.
Yep.
Right. It's just Ford. And so I'm sure there's like EcoBoost stuff there and things like that. And Mopar is the same way. I mean, it's
everything. But
yeah, it spans this huge. I mean, it's all these new Challengers and new Chargers and 300Cs and old cars, and it spans this huge array of engine platforms that the Mopar group has built over the years. And LS Fest is LS's. It's not Chevy products.
Nope.
It's not Ecotechs and 3800s and big block Chevys. It's LS's. And now I think LTs too.
Yeah,
LS and LT. Basically anything after the LS1.
Right. And I just find that interesting that and like it shows how prolific that engine platform has become. Mm-hmm. Because Holly, clearly they're trying to put on events that cater to most any group of people, but they can't get away with that with any other manufacturer. They have to be more broad about what they're doing to capture enough people to make the event worth their while.
Yep.
Whereas LS Fest can just do that.
LS's. And we sell out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I think it started originally because they wanted to put a big push behind all of the conversion parts they were making back, 12 years ago. They went whole hog into selling, the different like oil pans and headers and everything to do swaps specifically for different vehicles. So like the first few years of it, they had a competition where they would have two teams that would roll cars in. You had to drive it in, pull the engine out, swap an LS into it, and then drive it out. And it was a competition for time.
Holy cows.
And so
That's
like
amazing.
the first year they did it, people legitimately just drove like full running, like street machine cars in there and did a swap. And it took it was like a 3-hour ordeal or something with like 4 guys. And I think only hand tools or something like that,
If you had like a T-bucket or something like that with a small block Chevy in it or a Ford in it, that would be so easy to put an LS in because it's wide open and easy.
Yep.
Yeah. So I want to say it was like the first couple of years of it was like El Caminos and Camaros and, just like regular cars. But it spawned very quickly into guys rolled in with like everything was quick disconnect and like drive the car in and literally like 37 minutes later or something like that, drive it back out with the LS. And I think the bit was originally that whoever won, they got to keep the engine that they put in there. So,
so it would make sense to invest a little time and effort into that one.
Well, yeah, it could be a reward it could be a $5 trophy and people would spend thousands of dollars trying to win it.
Fair.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, they added Texas this year. From the sound of it, I think they'd had this kind of on the agenda for a while. And then, the world exploded and turned upside down and backwards. And then it took a few years to actually get it all, planned out and working. So, it was at Texas Motor Speedway here, which is the big NASCAR track. And we have Good Guys events and like the C10 Nationals and other stuff like that. So there's a lot of like kind of similar things here, but this is like a whole different animal with they did. So you've got drifting on the infield road course, and then like autocross in a section of the infield parking lot. And then they did true no prep drag racing on pit road versus like at Beach Bend and Las Vegas, they're on a full like regular drag strip. So that was kind of a different wrinkle. And then they did burnout contests down in one section, down on like the opposite end of the infield from where the autocross was. So
we don't have enough burnout contests anymore.
Yeah, and so this was legit. It wasn't just a pull up onto a steel plate. This was drive out into an open area and do however much you can do for 60 seconds or 90 seconds or something like that.
Jeez. So, hell yeah.
It's like there's a video that Holly posted on their account of a guy in like a fully stock suspension square body S10, red and white two-tone. He's like doing a large radius donut in the truck. It has no posi. It's only spinning the inside tire, and the inside tire is mostly off the ground. It's just touching every once in a while and emitting like a large quantity of smoke. And then the tire just explodes.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So I'm not 100% sure. While we were waiting in the line to get registered, we were talking to two guys that had driven down from Oklahoma. And they were like, yeah, we entered the drag racing, but we're really just here to do the burnouts. I stopped at the tire store on the way here and asked them what was the crappiest, like just most awful tire that they could sell me. And we got those mounted up and put on there. And we're just here to we're just going to drive it till something breaks. And I really want to know if it was that guy or not.
That sounds awesome.
It's the right attitude to have.
Burnout contests are the best.
I don't think I've ever actually been to a proper contest.
The only ones I think I've ever really seen is ones where they have a box and you back up into it.
Yeah.
And then they let them rip, and it's usually decided on like crowd response. And they were done in small towns. My dad, we took the juniors and the Tempest to one when I was little. Yep. And I just did like a demo burnout because I couldn't actually do a burnout. So I just kind of launched it. Right.
Yep.
But then my dad did like a full proper line lock, let's do this burnout. Right. And like when he pulled away, there's like piles of flaming rubber there, and he lost to a figure 8 car because that dude's related to 3/4 of the population of that town. And so it's like, that was kind of the last time we ever really did anything like that. Yeah. Because my dad was kind of bitter about it.
It happens.
So yeah, rolling into the weekend, I had been fighting allergy hell for a week. So I did not get to like fully enjoy. So since it's June and it's in Texas, they ran the schedule from like 1 o'clock until midnight. And like a lot of the drag racing and the drifting stuff wasn't happening until well after sundown. And so Friday, I did media, and then my dad drove. My mom's got a 2016 Camaro SS that he drove in the Grand Champion. So the Grand Champion competition is you do autocross, 3S, which is like Optima, like speed stop kind of acceleration and braking. Drag racing, and then for this one they also did track cross, which was just a autocross setup on the infield road course. So like we got there, by the time we got through registration, we got through the autocross session and the track cross. It was like the sun was still beating down high on us at 6:30 or 7 o'clock, and I was like, I'm not up for any more of this just suffering out here. So Saturday there was clouds, there was wind, that was a little bit better, but I'm hoping they can move it a little bit earlier in the year, and the weather won't be as much of a factor in that way. But the crowd on Saturday was like jumping pretty good, and I'm sure it just got better after the sun went down. So
like numbers wise, I mean, is this comparable to a Good Guys event there, or like, is this 1,000 cars? Is this 5,000 cars? Is this 500 cars?
So I think they said around 500 total between. So that's
It's not that bad for a first event.
No, that's pretty good.
Yeah, so they were my guy that I work with at Holly said they were super pleased with the turnout for a first year event. Said it was one of their strongest, if not the strongest, like first year at a new venue event that they've had since.
Well, they've got a lot of steam build up behind the name.
Yeah.
So I would imagine that, like, this is going to debut better than the original one did at Bowling Green.
Yeah,
you know.
And I think this area of the country is just kind of like, we have 2 good guys per year, but they kind of have their own audience. And I think it's getting a little bit younger as they expand the year model range on what they allow in. But
yeah, it's basically damn near up to new cars at this point.
Yeah, whenever I was walking around at Good Guys and seeing 4th gen Camaros, I felt real old.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, oh yeah, that car is 20 years old, and it came out whenever I was in high school. That's right. Cool.
My Omni's not even like close to being too new.
No,
I think my S10's not that far off from being Good Guys legal at this point.
Yeah, I think I don't remember what they expanded it up to now.
It's past 87 though now, right?
Yeah, I think they moved it up to like 98 or 96.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah, like walking around at Good Guys and seeing nothing but like mid 90s Chevy trucks and catfish Camaros. I was just like real weirded out.
I mean, honestly, the one here in Des Moines, they didn't need that.
No, there's 4,000 cars.
The last thing that place needed was more car attendance. Honestly, It's so crazy there already. Like that's about as big as that venue can handle.
Yeah, it fills up the entire fairgrounds.
Yeah. I mean, there's probably nearly as many people there in an individual day as there are at an average state fair day.
Yeah, it's insane.
It's crazy. I always thought that was insane that they moved it up as high as they have. So I don't know about other shows in the country, and I know they have a huge touring show list now. Yeah, so maybe it makes more sense in other parts of the country, but around here, they didn't need to move as far up as they did.
Well, I think a lot of it too is probably down to the companies that sponsor them. Like NPD and all those companies that have made their living on muscle car stuff. Well, now they're making their living on 90s car stuff. So
hell yeah,
it's probably a twofold thing, to try to get younger, because guys that are building street rods are kind of getting fewer and far between.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for someone to come out with Omni floor pans. NPD, I'm talking to you. Let's do this. Omni floor pans, Charger floor pans, 240SX floor pans.
Yeah, that's
you
the thing.
You need the
Does somebody
NPD.
make those?
Probably.
That would be a seller for sure.
Yeah, it's needed.
You need the NPD K car catalog.
Hell yeah! They're starting. Like, honestly, a few years ago, I was kind of joking about it being a car that like might be a collectible classic or an appreciating classic someday, but they're not that far off. Like, they're swinging up in value.
Yeah,
and they're getting to the point where people are actually appreciating even the stupid ones, even the like not interesting ones.
It'll be interesting to see what it does.
So, not that that's why I'm sitting on it in my garage.
No.
But yeah. So, anyway,
it's an investment, honey.
Yeah. I mean, it kind of almost is. I think I could probably sell it for more than I have in it right now.
Oh yeah,
if I just put it back together again, got it running.
Yeah, no question.
Which is funny. I spent more on the suspension than I did on the purchase of the car.
I do remember that.
But yeah, it's fine. So anyway, so yeah, that was one of the things I was wondering was car numbers. And then do they have a rule set for their autocross and stuff like that? Do they even have a rule set, or is this just a run what you brung?
So it's split up by basically by year model. So there's modern, vintage, and then truck.
Okay.
In the Grand Champion side. And yeah, there's basically no rules other than it's 200 treadwear and you can't run the Kumo ACRs. And it has to have an LS. So
they still have that rule? I'm surprised they still have that rule. Can you even get a Kumo still?
I don't think so.
I'm guessing there's probably still. Yeah, you can, because there was a truck there this weekend that I'd seen at the C10 Nationals that was still at the C10 Nationals. He was running Kumos still.
Huh.
That doesn't mean they were new.
No, but I would question whether, even if they were 4 years old, if they're still not stickier than what we've got.
I mean, Ferris has probably got Ferris and Swenson probably have a few they can't get rid of in their garages still.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, it's pretty wide open. So like, to the point that, like tube chassis stuff, like what like Mike Dusold has, or what the Leisingers have,
the Crushers.
It just runs in the vintage class. So, this tube chassis car with a super gas Corvette Roadster body on it, that
literally a drag racing body.
There's no Corvette there at all. It's still running as a 64 Corvette in the vintage class, which, I mean, it was, so I've always seen those cars in the highlights at Good Guys, and then like for whatever reason I've never managed to get to a Good Guys here and see them run. So it was cool hearing that giant Warren Johnson horsepower in them.
They're local to us. They're based out of Sioux Falls. Like the place that Josh Fettis works at, they fly Josh's boss out to events to tune the cars through the weekends. Like, he's on site. That's the kind of money that they spend on those cars. To run literally a no awards or no reward autocross event. Like it's not $50,000. It's not $25,000 to win,
right?
Like King of the Mountain is. It's just a trophy. It's a prize package.
The prize package isn't bad though. I mean, it's not worth. It's that kind of money.
Yeah.
But
it's funny when Josh Jones shows up with his Focus ST
and wins, or
Fiesta ST, and gets a prize package. It gets like 50% off a set of Krager wheels or something like that's funny, right?
Yeah,
but I mean, that's not what the Leisingers are going for. So those cars, I remember back when I still did autocross, they would bring those cars out to Sioux Falls autocross events. And at the time, I think they just had the Camaro.
Yeah, I think
and
I was looking around
else.
I've
never seen the Vet. And they have a truck that I think I've seen. I don't remember if I ran against it or not. But like, they used to just show up at Sioux Falls events, and they weren't that fast. Like, they've gotten way better, not only in car setup but as drivers than they were back then. It was kind of funny, like, to see these cars,
like these
absurd cars show up. And I mean, they've gotten way better. Don't get me wrong. I'm sure that we would struggle to even come close to the times that they put down now.
Oh yeah.
But back then, like, it wasn't that far off of, if not being faster than they were. So it's kind of interesting to see the development in that car, in those cars, and the things that they've changed. It's a very weird world that people spend that kind of money on anything, let alone an autocross event.
Right.
And I love autocross stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking it and thinking, I can't believe anybody's doing that. It's such a waste of time. But we live in a strange world.
We do.
Yeah, to do it for Good Guys autocross, that's my kind of, because I mean the courses they set up here are not. It's not
They're
something
not fun.
that I have any. It's
They're
not
not
something
fun.
I have any interest in doing on several levels.
Yeah. I mean, granted, we're kind of lucky in the fact that we live like it's a solid 2.5 or 3 hour drive to Lincoln. But like, if my choices were running at the Good Guys event or going to nationals, or even like an average Sunday at the Nebraska SCCA region, like, you wouldn't catch me dead at a Good Guys. Those are not fun courses.
No, and the one here is dangerous. Like, they'll tear some stuff up.
Yep. So what was that? Was that video from the one you were at? That I just went head first straight into the.
I think that was Del Mar. I think that was out in California.
Yeah,
so that video was like crazy, just
scary.
Yeah, just like he didn't hit his brakes at all. It just went straight into a cement wall.
Our SCCA region used to run at the place that Good Guys runs here in Des Moines now. And there's been a car crashed there at an SCCA event before.
It's like one of the few like actual like major instances we've ever had.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean it's this small little area completely enclosed by by concrete K barriers.
Yeah.
And they'll let literally anything out there.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen like 1-ton dually trucks with stock
giant,
suspension.
There was, I don't remember if it was last year or this year, there was a giant like rat rod trophy truck type build running, and it was two-wheeling in every corner.
Gross.
What could go wrong?
And I don't think they were wearing helmets either. So
Oh yeah, they don't require helmets.
yeah.
Oh, for real?
No helmets.
Yeah.
Wow.
They thought it was weird when I was teching. I had my helmet sitting on my seat, and the guy pointed at it and said, "You don't need to wear that." And I said, "I think I will."
Yeah, I'm good.
in your car with a roll cage in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, dude, I'm good. Thanks.
Wow.
So it's a different world.
It's a different generation.
I mean, it's not the All American Sunday stuff that I was going to. Is a bunch of people
Yeah, I guess
that were our age.
Yeah.
Around.
Roughly. Yeah. Huh.
So
I forgot about the no helmet thing.
yeah, no helmets. I mean, that's probably not the way it is at LS Fest, is it?
They were requiring helmets. Yeah.
Okay.
I would assume.
Yeah. Because they had the full, like SA 2015, whatever requirements.
Yeah.
And then the drag racing was long pants and long sleeves, like that kind of stuff. So,
Yep.
Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, my dad was super, super, super giddy at getting to do 3 drag strip runs in her car. So I'm waiting until we're figuring out how to go to one of the remaining drag strips around here for something.
It's time to put cam intake and headers on that.
So fun story related to taking mom's car to the autocross. We went like a month ago now to run one of the local SCCA events to just feel the car out again, because we ran it once like right after she got it in 2016. So take it, run. Me and him both do like 6 runs each. Play with the different modes, trying to figure out what's the happiest on the different like track mode, comp mode, or everything off kind of thing. Get it home. She drives it home for lunch on like Tuesday. It kills it, and the fan is still on like 1,000 miles per hour. Like, kill the car, get out. Fans are still running like crazy. Start it up, kill it. Fans are still running. So they call the dealer, end up taking it to the dealer. So it turns out the thermostat in it decided to quit. And whenever the thermostat quits, it goes into this like cooling system limp mode where it's just full capacity cooling at all times. So
I mean, that's not the worst fail safe.
Yeah, that's not terrible.
Yeah. So $560 at the dealer later, it got a fresh thermostat, and he's like, we were talking the whole way back from the autocross. It's like, okay, well, we can get the DSC Sport controller, or we can go find some Apex wheels, but like get some 275, 200 treads on it. Like
275. Come on, bro. It's a Camaro. You can put big old meats under there.
So you can put Apex makes a wheel that you can put a 315 on it, and we have a set of 315 AO52s sitting there not being used right now. But you have to like grind on the steering knuckle, and you really need a camber plate, and you need this and you need that to make it work on the front. So it wasn't as straightforward as just bolting them on. And then it proceeds to do that on Tuesday. So he's like, yeah, maybe I don't mess with her car and turn it into a race car.
That's no fun.
That car is just a 2SS, and it's bone stock on 560 treadwear tires, and it is way too much fun. It makes me want a 1LE really bad.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't blame you for that.
You should drive Dalton sometime.
Yeah. I bet he'll let you.
Yeah,
it's a V6, so you won't be like...
Yeah, you'll dial it back a little.
It'll be slower. And they're not as good. Like, they don't have quite as fancy as suspension bits on them.
Yeah, no, I just want the whole... I want the whole enchilada.
You just get a little taste. Just dip your toe.
Yeah, the biggest thing about that one is just the power that it makes is just it's not fair.
Dalton's is shocking. The V6 shockingly not slow.
No, it's a good car.
Yeah, they're 3. So that's the same. My wife's Blazer has the same engine in it, and yeah, with the 10-speed auto in the Blazer, that thing will get like.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
you pull onto the highway and it's like, oh, I'm doing 85. Sweet.
Yeah, yeah. New cars are so quiet inside that you don't realize how fast you're going very quick. Because I'm used to shit boxes. Right?
Yeah, of course.
I experienced this in my new work truck when I first got it. I was like, I'm fucking speeding. How? Like, I feel like I'm doing 60. It's not loud enough to be doing 80 miles an hour in here. Just 80 miles an hour in any of my shit boxes is deafening.
It's screaming at you.
Yeah. You can't hear anything.
The Mini Cooper's that way.
The wind noise.
Oh, but when you talk about the thermostat, it reminded me of the one goofy thing that I learned on the Mini Cooper.
Okay.
Is that the fan switch and the coolant temp sensor are the same connector style. So if you switch them, your coolant temp gauge doesn't work. It reads 0.
Yeah.
And then your fans turn on and never shut off. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? It's like, oh, these are backwards.
Nice.
Yes, that's weird. Of course, they're like the same length, like on the harness, and they're next to each other.
Of course, why wouldn't they be?
Got them wrong.
Son of a
Fans won't shut off. What the fuck is going on? Well, then, like, yeah, it's all like if the key's in, the fan's on. Like, well, this is weird. So yeah, that was one really peculiar thing about the Mini.
My Audi, I don't remember. It was some completely unrelated thing that fails, and the fans are always on and surge.
Yep.
And I couldn't figure out why, and I just decided that them being on all the time was better than them not being on all the time. So I just rolled with it for like 6 fucking months before I finally figured out what was actually. It was some completely unrelated system, like something to do with like power steering or some bullshit.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah. So
back to LS Fest.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on LS Fest?
So I was just going to talk about some of the cool stuff that was there.
Yes.
So, one of the things that I've seen for the last, I guess, like year or so that I looking through, I don't think I got a picture of it in the stuff that I sent.
Robbie loves it when people do that.
I guess we can't talk about it.
Yeah. So there was a Nissan Frontier showed up at, I think, the Optima Invitational last year.
Oh, yeah. I've seen this.
That it's the Frontier with the big flares, and then they put flares on the big flares.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
And I saw it in pictures. I didn't ever look up any details of it or anything. He's in the grid like 2 cars down from us, and I walk over, and this thing has a twin turbo LS in it, like to the point that the like charge pipes are sticking out of the hood, and everything's like powder coated, bright candy red and stuff. Talked to the guy for a few minutes. It's the guy that owns LOJ Conversions that makes all the really cool 350Z LS conversion stuff.
Yes.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
And go on.
Talked to him for a few minutes. He's like, yeah, so I own LOJ. We make I was like, yeah, I'm aware. Yeah.
I have a 350Z. I know who you are.
Damn it.
Yeah. That's exact. I literally said, I'm a 350. I have a 350Z. I'm familiar. So
that's funny.
So that was cool to see that in person and like see because like he openly admitted, I did not build this truck to do anything except attract attention in our booth whenever we were out at shows, and then got the invite to Optima, or I think like just did an autocross run at like an LS Fest or something, and then got an invite to Optima, and he's like working to try and optimize this truck that there's no suspension parts available out there for or anything like that. So that was cool. Another one, there's a Regal that is from P2 Fabrication that It's one of those that it's a dark gray Regal. It sits down super low. It's got big mega dish wheels in the back.
So good.
And then you walk up to it and you realize, like, I look under the hood and it's got this massive lay down radiator that's tucked into the hood. It's got a fully fabricated firewall. Look inside, the floor pan is all fully fabricated and like super nice metal work, nice speed rolling and everything. So the dude did it all himself, and it's like SpeedTech's like Camaro subframe like grafted onto the original middle section of the Regal's frame. He told me the only bad part of a G-body frame is from the firewall forward and from the back seat back. He said everything else in the middle is fine. So
that sounds about right. Yeah.
Talked to SpeedTech and they like got him set up to do all this stuff, and the car like just squats and goes and has air conditioning, and it's like all race card out on the inside, and it's just like kind of exactly what I think of whenever I think of what a pro touring car should be. Like, still has some creature comforts, but it's just the right amount of stupid all the way around, and just like really nicely finished out. So that one was really cool to take in.
Yes, it's super well done.
Those are becoming more common.
Yeah.
The G-body thing is as a car that can turn. People are starting to do that as a thing instead of just drag racing them. Which I've never been that big of a G-body fan, but I support.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So whenever we were looking for the project that ended up being the Camaro, we had talked about a Malibu, like the square, like mid 80s Malibus.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that could have been us trying to figure out how to stuff a tire under one of those with the full frame and everything. But, so there was I think New Edge Mustang. I'm not sure
no idea.
Oh, they're all S550s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this one's an S550 that has the round roof and the square taillights on the back.
Is it this tan thing?
That's gray.
Is that gray?
Yeah, gray.
Sure. That looks like tan to me.
Yeah, with the giant 46 on the side.
Okay. Yeah. That is a New Edge, which is also the same generation as an SN95, even though I will argue to the death that those should be two separate generations, Ford.
And they're technically still like Fox bodies underneath, I think. But
that's what people tell me. I don't know if that's true or not. It's probably not true. Worst motor. You know you make these great?
LSs.
Put an LS in it.
Yeah, put an LS3 in it and a bunch of Maximum Motorsports parts on it, apparently. That car was like hooked up and rocking, and it was pretty cool. It probably triggers Mustang guys, so that makes me happy.
I'm sure it does.
That's fine. No, I guarantee you that it doesn't trigger them as much as I did.
What did you do?
When we rank stacked Mustangs.
Oh yeah,
dude, I got hate texts from people for like weeks.
Or as they find the episode, like, what the fuck? Yep,
fuck them. Jesus Christ!
Amazing.
Wow.
And then I think my other favorite thing, because I'm my Nissan Rice Boy self, was there's a tannish gray 240 with some dark bronze work wheels on it.
Is that an S13 or an S14, Robbie?
It's an S14 Kooky.
Okay.
So it's got.
He hasn't lost his touch, people.
It's got the angry eyes.
Yes, got the angry eyes. Had a nice little V8 burble. Had some super sweet, nicely finished out 3-piece wheels on it.
It's real subtle. Like it's like a stock body, stock interior.
He said it's still the original paint.
Yeah, it looks good.
It looks very similar to the other one that was here in town.
Oh yeah, it's got like this, huge wheels, but everything else is basically stock, minus the engine.
Seats.
I guess he's got front seats. Yeah.
Yeah, it had I think it had a roll bar in it too, but just super clean. He said that he had somebody at Radwood in Austin offer him $50,000 on the spot for it, and he was like, "No, I don't. I kind of like this car."
Yeah, I don't.
What?
I don't like it for $50,000, but I like it. That's crazy.
I would have let it go for sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I wouldn't even thought twice about it. Even if it was like an S15 that was hard to get, I still would have done it.
50 grand.
Yeah, that's crazy money.
I should bring my Omni to a Radwood, apparently.
Ooh, yeah, you definitely should do that.
Nah, I don't. Nah.
I'll go with you.
They don't come
media.
around here.
That's fine. I got a truck and trailer.
Yeah,
If I'm truck and trailering the Omni to something, it's sure as fucking going to be a Radwood.
Sure, we'll do it. It'll be great.
No.
For the content.
No.
Dusty will go. He'll meet us there. He'll do media.
Did you go as a media member of 1010's podcast?
I did.
Does it really say 1010's podcast?
Did you even know that?
No.
He
So
just did it on its...
It doesn't say 1010s. It just has my name. But yeah, it's my first time that I've actually gotten a vest and a name tag. So I felt
Professional.
super official.
But wait, so I assume there was a process to fill out. Did you put our stuff on there?
Yeah, it was just a. So I did the same thing that I've done for Super Lap, where I said I'm just freelance and working with you guys, and we post photos and do a recap on the show.
Okay.
And
That's funny.
It's not a lie.
That's funny.
yeah, so it's.
I just like how
me,
it just goes for it.
Yeah, I like
Fuck it.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know after I'd gotten accepted.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, obviously I don't care. I just thought it's funny.
I tried to do it for Monster Jam here in town. They weren't having it.
I know, I did too. I tried for Meekum too. They weren't having
No.
it in Kansas City.
Neither was professional bull riding either.
Weird.
Yeah, no.
That's
That's right up our alley.
like the one from Flat Track. It was AMA's like national thing, and it was like only nationally accredited like syndication, like all these different like really big fancy media words. And I was like, but you guys emailed Adam, like
Yeah, yeah, they reached out to us. But we've talked about them before,
Supermoto.
right? But I bet you it's not
No, it's small enough that the
Right.
whoever's running one probably has their hands in the other.
right. So
yeah. And then like whenever I got there, I was talking to a guy that he was just a freelance, like he had like a side business that he did like media stuff for small businesses, and
right.
he was just like, yeah, I just decided I wanted to do motorsports events, so I put in my application and they just approved me. So
Right.
Yeah, it's fine.
so it goes to show you never know until you just submit the application and then see what happens. So
Oh yeah, we've like back when Michael used to go to the Chicago Auto Show, there were people there on media day that were way smaller than we are.
Yep.
And we're not big by that standard. But Chicago Auto Show isn't that fancy, so yeah.
yeah, and then I think the last car/truck there that I'll talk about is there's a white Chevy OBS truck that is it's my buddy Olaf. He owns Ardent Fabrication, and he did all the work on that truck himself, and it will straight get down on an autocross course. It is super fun to watch, and makes me like super excited to get our truck back on the road and start dialing it in. I did an Instagram reel with like half of an autocross run with it, and yeah, it's super cool. It's got a full like he's completely redone the front end rear suspension. It's got a 3-link on it, and yeah, really cool build.
Are you going to have your truck out before the end of the decade, or
I'm hoping we can have it together by the end of this year.
is that going to be before or after the Camaro returns?
That's the majority of it's got to be done before the Camaro, because there's no. So whenever you take a truck apart and you only have like 3 bays worth of space in a shop, the truck takes up at least 2 bays because there's a cab and a bed and a chassis, and it's all So, yeah, we get the chassis stripped back down. And he's doing final welding on it, get it out to powder coat, and then get it back and start. I think we still gotta fabricate a new transmission tunnel to fit the 6-speed in it, and then like redo all of the wiring and put the engine in. Yeah, there's still a lot to do, but
see, I can make fun of him for that because it's been not running longer than my car.
Yeah. He's got an Instagram handle of something I've never driven.
Yeah.
Since I've known him.
As long as I've known him, I think.
So
he's not Brown
it was
Camaro
driving
on Instagram. That's all I know.
Right.
It was driving whenever I started listening to you guys. I don't know that it was driving by the time I started talking to you guys.
That's fair.
So, yeah, we've had that truck since 1998.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then did a full frame off rebuild on it. Got it on the road whenever I was 16. Pulled it back apart. Put a hot 400 small block in it. Bracket raced it. Had issues with that engine, rebuilt it, had issues with that engine, tore it down, and then that's where we ended up at taking it all the way back down to the chassis and completely rebuilding it.
That's how it usually goes.
It's not hard to take them apart. It's like 4 bolts and the whole thing comes apart.
Yeah, it's easy. It was made to be disassembled.
Yeah.
It literally is kind of frightening how simple those trucks are. Like there's like 10 total bolts that hold all of the body to the chassis.
I get that it's terrible from like a vehicle dynamics point of view, but body on frame is so easy.
Yeah. Yeah. Compared, like we were working on building the exhaust for it. And it's like I built 2 different exhausts for the Camaro. I did one on the rotisserie and then did one with it just on jack stands. And we're working on the exhaust with it with frame on the lift. And there's no body on it. I was like, this is the easiest thing in the world. Like I'm like lining up pie cuts and just doing all kinds of things.
You get
like,
all the way around it to weld. Yeah, it's so easy.
Stand under it or look down at it or just do whatever. It's like, man, we should just build trucks. This is cool.
Absolutely. Body on frame is brilliant in its simplicity.
Yeah, it really is.
It's terrible for literally everything you want to do with it.
It's fine.
But with enough cross support and bracing, you can make anything not twist too badly.
Yeah, so that frame, whenever we pulled it off with just the stock cross members in it, you could pick the back corner of it up like 6 inches and nothing else moved.
Oh, yeah.
Like that chassis was not doing anything in the way of rigidity.
Jeez.
No, but like some unibody cars are garbage too, because like my Cavalier, you could, like, if you had one corner jacked up, you couldn't open a door.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not.
I mean, that's the way Camaros are until you put subframe connectors on them.
Yeah.
Too, so.
Older Camaros, older like Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 Camaros are terrible. So the Omni, the only reason that I can jack that up and still open a door is because there's a roll cage in it. So
meanwhile, the 350Z, I can back it in. Like if I cut across a parking lot with a big dip in it, it will just 3-wheel and not go anywhere.
Yep.
Yeah, well, they figured it out.
Yeah, I have 2 jack points on the Z, and they're both in the center. You just lift up one side at a time.
Right. Yeah. So, is that it?
Yeah.
Do we do a show?
Oh, yeah, full show. 2 shows if it's a different podcast.
Ooh.
They called us out.
It happens.
Abe said something about it being in. They were about an hour in, and Jabay goes, "Well, it's not a 10 tenths podcast, but
they're making up for it in quantity now. I just every time I open my phone, there's a new slipping.
I'm not caught up anymore.
Jabay wanted us to do a show with him tonight for some reason. I was like, "It's Wednesday, bro. We record every Wednesday. Don't you know this?"
Every single
Every
Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
Roughly.
Yeah. Well, the one Jess is like, "What do you have plans for Wednesday?" Yeah, we're recording a podcast. Haven't you done like half what you know? We're doing a podcast every Wednesday.
Tri-weekly.
Katie was so excited this week because I already knew we were recording on like Tuesday morning.
No, we plan ahead.
Yeah. We knew Dusty was coming on before he even did.
Yeah, we texted him a bit about it.
Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah, I assumed.
You can't use our media
Sometime
credentials
in the next couple of weeks, he's going to need to come on the show. He wasn't sure when. I mean, there's a window there, but it's fine.
I mean, there was something that he said on a slipping goal this week that I was going to talk about on here, and then I totally blanked on it. I should have written it down.
Was it about you or us, or the Grid Life or slip angle or?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Nothing. Nah, shoot.
I
I haven't mowed the lawn in a little bit, so I'm not caught up.
This is a thing I didn't really talk about at the Midwest show. I don't think, but like Dalton and all of the Festiva guys and stuff like that, they are like, as far as anybody in the paddock's concerned, that is the 1010s podcast paddock.
Yep.
I wasn't even over there this year. Like I spent a very minimal amount of time. That's the 1010s podcast. I think half those people think that's my fucking trailer.
The big one, Dalton's?
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, they either think it's yours or Jabez.
No, they all know it's not Gervais. Everybody knows that Gervais is not that.
It's got his picture on the back, man.
Right, but he's not that full of himself. Gervais would never get a printout of himself of that size and put it on something he owned.
No
There's
chance.
Yeah,
no
he was-
way.
Yeah, he was not happy about that actually being a physical product.
That's still one of my favorite things in the whole world.
Well, like he was convinced no one was going to buy it, and they had to make them.
Yeah. We crowdfunded it. It's fine.
It was worth it.
So, but no, that's the 1010s podcast paddock area.
That's okay.
Like
I'll be back to it eventually.
the hot tub and all of those things.
That's all us.
People think that's 1010's podcast. It's not Tommy that's doing it. It's 1010's
us.
podcast.
That works out.
I don't know if that's good or bad. Like, I don't know if I'm mad about it or happy about it.
No, that's good. Next year will be more
Even
involved.
bad publicity is good publicity,
Exactly.
right?
That's where I was just about to say there is no such thing as bad publicity.
Yeah. No, just get the people talking.
It's definitely better.
Did you hear what happened at the 1010s podcast paddock?
Yeah.
Oh my God, that chick was.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
good. That's just good advertising.
I suppose you're not wrong. I guess.
Yeah, next year
So
we'll have
on
to invest in it a little bit more.
So on the subject of Festiva boys, I think I might be audibling on my plan to go to Lime Rock and turning it into a plan to go to Mid-Ohio. So
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna. Part of me would be kind of sad, but part of me would be kind of relieved because there is a part of me that's like, man, I have to figure out how to go to Lime Rock.
Yep.
Because Dusty's going to Lime Rock, and I don't want to leave him high and dry.
Can't.
And I really want to go. Don't get me wrong, but like gas has gotten really fucking expensive. And then Katie decided she didn't really need to go see her grandma this year because they're coming here for a little while. So then she's like, because I don't think she wants to do that long of a road trip with our baby.
Yeah. No. Don't blame her for
that's
that.
And so now she's kind of backing out. I'm like,
Well, that and flying right now is a total shit show,
yeah, if you can fly.
as Dusty has learned,
If you can fly.
so
or if you can make it home, like they'll cancel it as you're waiting on the jet.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so I had booked it, and I booked it based on it being a Saturday, Sunday, based on the dates that were on one of the graphics on the Grid Life website.
Oh, yeah, it's not. It's a Friday, Saturday because they can't race there on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then in a brief discussion one evening, I found out that it was Friday, Saturday instead, and went to change it. And I was using airline miles, and I need like double the miles to try to do it. And turns out you can fly into Ohio like super cheap.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, it's weird.
Well, I mean, they got to get people in there somehow.
It's like Vegas, they just
They
lowered
for
it,
sure
yeah.
don't let you back out of Ohio, though. If you fly in, you're not flying back out.
Yeah. So I can do Columbus or Cleveland and make it work. And so I might come join that mess.
If you do Columbus, then we can get someone to pick you up and get you to the track real easy. Because that's where the Petrobox boys live.
Yeah, I bet John could hook you up.
And last year, John drove there and back again each day. So, by himself. So there's a car with a seat in it that you could easily
nice.
get into.
That would make things even better because you know what else is crazy right now? Renting a car.
Yeah.
Don't want to do that.
I mean, you can buy a car. Tommy's already planning because we've decided that that's tradition. And Tommy's not known for backing off of things. Everything has to get one upped at least, which is what terrifies me for. I mean, an immeasurable number of things that
the Camaro story was pretty high on the list already. So good luck.
If I've gathered anything over the last 10 months now, it's that it's only going to escalate. It's not going to get smaller.
Yeah.
He might find him a toter.
There is that chance.
Oh man, a Tommy Ohio. Tommy actually has been doing a lot of trailer shopping as of recent.
Yep.
And he has sent us toter. He's also a while ago he was looking at cranes. Cranes.
Okay.
And if literally anybody else sent me a link to a crane, I'd be like, "What the fuck are you doing?" But Tommy sends to me yeah, that makes sense. You should probably
probably have a crane.
You need that. Why wouldn't you buy that? If literally any of my other friends would send me a link to a crane, I'd be like, "Dude, you're off your fucking rocker."
You don't need that.
Do you have the Rona? Is your fever so high that you've become crazy? But Tommy, yeah, dude, you should buy that. Yeah. That makes total sense.
That would look great in your yard.
Why wouldn't you buy that?
Think of all the things you could do with that.
Yeah, all the things you could pick up and put somewhere else.
The ASM guys standardized bringing the scissor lift to the track, so he could take it to the next level by bringing the crane observation deck.
I have used a crane and a man basket to get up to towers that couldn't be climbed and stuff like that before. That's totally a thing. Huh. You think a tall JLG lift has sway in the wind? You've done nothing until you've been in a man basket held by a crane.
Nope.
I'm good.
Especially a crane that Tommy bought on Craigslist.
Sitting on a couch.
Yeah. Wow. So let's call it a night.
All right. Just want to remind everybody to thank our sponsors, Petrobox, mypetrobox.com. Use the code TTP15 to get 15% off your first box or anything that's currently available in the store. This is an awesome little product that shows up at your house. It's like present. I'm wearing the shirt that showed up this month. It's Race Car Things.
A Stranger Things reference, apparently.
Exactly. I haven't seen it. Jess really liked it. I never watched it.
I haven't either.
Seems to be very popular.
I just started Game of Thrones because that's what I do.
There you go.
I start things 10 years after they're cool.
Yeah. That's a good show.
I still play Skyrim, so what are you going to do?
I still have a PlayStation 3, and I enjoy it. So, but if you want to get a car care products or shirts and other sort of automotive enthusiast stuff delivered to your house every month, mypetrobox.com. And then, like I said, anything that's previously been in boxes is usually available in the shop. So if you want to pick and choose on what you need, like $15 mechanics gloves, hint, hint, use the code TTP15 to get 50% off. And then also use the, if you want to get faster on track, use the Apex Pro. You get the Apex Pro Gen 2. Use the code 10tenths. You get 10% off when you get that and the window mount. Or if you want to not spend money at all, just use the app, the Apex Pro app.
Full free.
Full free. You download it. You can watch Crew View. You can watch other people that are doing their cool things with their data logger. And it gives you all the same features basically as if you have the unit, you can use the app to do all that stuff. And then you can... It's obviously not as accurate, but you can definitely do all the same stuff, and you can learn where you're fast, where you're not fast, and where you can improve on track. ApexTrackCoach.com. We did a show, Adam. And Dusty.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, I appreciate you utilizing
at least somebody,
our media.
Yeah, at least somebody's still getting out there and doing things.
I do stuff at home.
Remember, when was the last time that you... Oh, no, wait. I was going to say, when was the last time you or I have used a media credential? But I did at PRI.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Right. Because most of the events that we used to go to as media, you now go as a driver and I go as a worker, as an employee.
Yeah, so, and we haven't gone, they haven't done a lot of...
It's probably been the last festival that you didn't drive at.
Yep.
Probably 2019 was the last year that...
No.
Or was it 2018?
I think it was 18.
The last year that Mr. Beck went with us.
Yeah, I think it was 18.
Probably the last time you've used a media credential.
Probably. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Don't worry, I'm making up for it.
Appreciate it. But yeah, we'll catch everybody next week.
Yeah.